I want you to picture a plant. A beautiful, vibrant one you bought full of hope. You placed it in what you thought was a sunny spot. You water it faithfully, but instead of thriving, it's surviving. The leaves are a little yellowed, the growth is stunted, and no matter what you do, it never quite blossoms. You keep thinking, maybe if I move it an inch to the left, or change the water, or just be more patient. You blame your care, the soil, the pot, anything but the environment itself. That, in essence, is what a toxic relationship often feels like. You're pouring energy into something that is fundamentally failing to nourish you, and the first, most difficult step is to realize the problem isn't your gardening skills. It's the ecosystem. The most insidious sign, the one that underpins all the others, is what we call the erosion of self. It's a slow, almost imperceptible process where your identity, your confidence, and your trust in your own perceptions are systematically worn away. It doesn't start with a dramatic explosion. It starts with a subtle comment. You're so sensitive when you express hurt. I was just joking. Can't you take a joke after a cruel remark? You're misremembering what happened when you recall a conflict clearly. This is a psychological manipulation tactic known as gaslighting, and its goal is to make you doubt your own reality. You stop trusting your feelings because you've been told, repeatedly, that they are invalid or incorrect. The compass you use to navigate the world is being deliberately tampered with, and soon you feel completely lost without the very person who broke it to guide you. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine Sarah. She's a bright, capable project manager. She comes home from a draining day at work and wants to vent to her partner, Mark. She begins to tell a story about a difficult client, and Mark cuts her off. Well, the way you're telling it, it sounds like you probably provoked him. You can be really intense, you know. Sarah feels a pang of defensiveness but also doubt. Was I too intense? Later, when she tries to bring up how his interruption made her feel, he sighs and says, "Here we go again. You're always creating drama. I can't say anything without you getting emotional." Over time, Sarah stops sharing her work stories. Then she stops sharing her worries. Then she starts preemptively editing her own thoughts, policing her own tone, trying to become a smaller, quieter, less intense version of herself to avoid the criticism. That is the erosion of self in action. She is being conditioned, like one of Pavlov's dogs, but instead of salivating for a bell, she's learning to shrink for peace. This erosion is often enforced by a volatile and unpredictable environment, which brings me to the second major sign, the walking on eggshells phenomenon. This isn't just a cliché. It's a lived physiological experience of hypervigilance. Your nervous system is constantly in a state of amber alert. You scan their face for micro-expressions of displeasure the moment you walk in the door. You rehearse conversations in your head, trying to find the perfect inoffensive way to say things. Why? Because you never know which version of this person you're going to get. Is it the charming, affectionate partner, or the cold, dismissive one? This cycle is perfectly described by what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement. If the criticism or coldness were constant, you'd leave. It would be unbearable. The toxicity lies in the unpredictability. Just when you're at your breaking point, they become the person you fell for. Loving, attentive, and kind. They might bring you flowers, plan a nice date, or tell you how much they love you. This positive reinforcement, after a period of negativity, is incredibly powerful. It rewires your brain to cling to the good moments, to believe that this time it will last. You are effectively trapped in a psychological slot machine. The occasional unpredictable jackpot of affection is enough to keep you pulling the lever, pouring your coins of energy and hope into a machine that is statistically designed to drain you. The third sign is a direct consequence of the first two, the imbalance of energy. Healthy relationships are a dance of mutual support. There's a natural ebb and flow. Sometimes you lean on me, sometimes I lean on you. In a toxic dynamic, this becomes a one-way street. You find yourself perpetually pouring from an empty cup. Your energy is spent managing their moods, bolstering their ego, and absorbing their anxieties, while your own needs are consistently relegated to the bottom of the list. This is often framed as being the strong one, or being understanding, but it's a trap. In clinical terms, we see the establishment of a dysfunctional caretaker-dependent dynamic. You become their emotional caretaker, responsible for their happiness and stability. If they're angry, it's your job to soothe them. If they're insecure, it's your job to reassure them. Your own bad day, your own stress, becomes an inconvenience because it takes the focus off of them. You start to feel like a supporting character in the movie of their life, and your own storyline has been put on indefinite hold. The conversation is always about their job, their feelings, their problems. When you try to turn the focus to yourself, you're met with distraction, dismissal, or a quick turnaround that brings it back to them. You end each interaction feeling more drained than when you started, because you've been giving, with no emotional nourishment in return. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the good times. But I love them, you might think. And when it's good, it's so good. This is the hook, the cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort of holding two contradictory beliefs. This person loves me, and this person causes me profound pain, is resolved by our brain making excuses. We engage in cognitive justification. We tell ourselves, well, nobody's perfect, or I'm not easy to live with either, or they had a difficult childhood. We magnify the good moments and minimize the bad ones to reduce the psychological tension. We create a narrative where we are the understanding, patient hero who can save them, rather than acknowledging we are a casualty in their unresolved war. So, you're feeling eroded, you're walking on eggshells, and you're completely drained. What now? The decision to leave isn't a single, dramatic event. It's a quiet, terrifying series of realizations. It starts with a thought that breaks through the fog. This isn't working. I am not happy. That thought is terrifying because it carries the weight of potential action. The fear is immense. Fear of being alone. Fear of their reaction. Fear that you're making a mistake. Fear that you're abandoning someone who needs you. I want you to understand that this fear is a normal part of the psychological prison you're in. The relationship, for all its toxicity, is a known entity. Leaving is the unknown. Our brains are wired to prefer a known negative over an unknown positive, because at least we know how to survive the known. Leaving requires you to trust that the pain of staying has become greater than the pain of leaving. It's about choosing the pain of growth over the comfort of decay. The process of leaving is not usually a clean break. It's more like a tide going out. You have a moment of clarity and set a boundary, then you feel guilty and come back. You pull away, then get drawn in by a moment of tenderness. This is normal. Don't beat yourself up for not leaving perfectly. Every time you pull away, you're gathering data. You're proving to yourself that you can breathe, even for a moment, outside of that atmosphere. You start rebuilding your support system. The friends you drifted from, the family you stopped confiding in. You start reinvesting in yourself, the hobby you dropped, the career goal you put aside. You begin, leaf by fragile leaf, to regrow. Ultimately, leaving a toxic relationship is the ultimate act of self-love. It is not a declaration that the other person is a monster. It is a declaration that you are no longer willing to be a casualty. It is saying, my well-being is non-negotiable. You are not leaving because you hate them. You are leaving because you love yourself enough to no longer participate in a dynamic that is destroying you. You are replanting yourself in fertile ground. The recovery is a journey. You have to relearn to trust your own judgment, to sit with the silence without anxiety, to understand that a relationship shouldn't feel like a full-time job with no pay and constant criticism. It will be hard, but the hard you face in leaving is a constructive hard. It's the hard of healing, of building, of becoming. The hard you face in staying is a destructive hard. It's the hard of eroding, of diminishing, of disappearing. Choose the hard that leads you back to yourself. You are not a plant meant to survive in the dark. You are meant to find the sun and to finally, unapologetically, bloom.